wish to do the right thing. We're willing to wipe the slate clean, give you a fresh start.
I want my phone call.
What good is a phone call if you're unable to speak?
What's up, guys? Boy Benny. Storytime here. I used to do the Candace show on Daily Wire quite a bit, right? No Candace, know a lot of the hosts of Daily Wire. I had a great time on that show, and it was a lot of fun. You'd go to Nashville, Tennessee, and they'd put you up in a hotel. And actually, one of the hotels that they put you up in was right beside a billboard, kind of near an empty lot that you can see the hotel right here in the background. See the hotel? This is the hotel right here. So they'd put you up in this hotel if you were going to do the show, and this is the billboard for the show. And this is a photo of Ben Shapiro in front of the billboard saying Candace Owens is uncancelable. Which was very much the Daily Wire brand. You know what I mean? Like, right? I've seen the advertisements and everything. We won't cancel free speech. We won't cancel anyone. Free speech. That was kind of Daily Wire thing. And the Ben Shapiro, hey, Candace, I'm liking our new billboards here in Nashville, says Ben, to the tune of 430,000 likes, right? 18,000 shares and so on. So how quickly relationships can descend. This is the Candace Owens is fired tweet from the CEO of the Daily Wire just a few years later. And so that's how things go, ladies and gentlemen. It's our job on this program to simply try and put the pieces together for what's going on inside of the industry, and more importantly, like to explain why things go so wrong, whether that's bad or good. We've done a lot of this with Tucker Carlson at Fox, and it's really changed our opinion of Fox. Will it change our opinion of the Daily Wire that they fired Candace Owens? Well, for me, it really boils down to, why did they fire Candace Owens, right? That's it. Why did they fire Candace Owens? The CEO of the Daily Wire has said publicly, I fired Candace, right? Like here he is saying, I fired her.
Are you trying to ask me why I fired Candace Owens?
No, I'm asking you if you would hire someone with a beautiful, spotless track record of 20 years of amazing conservative values, but they made the same criticisms that Candace Owens has made in the past couple of months. Would that person have a job at the Daily Wire?
Was Candace Owens a conservative for 20 years?
I'm not saying that. I'm giving a
No,
hypothetical
Candace
person.
was not conservative for 20 years. So no, this is not a Candace Owens.
Yeah, I'm not gonna...
This is the next Jordan Peterson. This is the next Jordan Peterson. Going to sell millions of books, going to make you guys millions of dollars, getting millions of views on every video they post. But they've made the same criticisms Candace has made in the last 6 months. Does that person have a job?
Yeah, I'm not... Even this is too close to the Candace thing for me to speak to, because I feel like there are implications of this that I'm not willing to engage in. But if your question is, would I hire... would I hire Bill Whittle if Bill Whittle suddenly said that there's a genocide going on in Gaza? No, I don't think that that's a person that I would hire at the Daily Wire.
Okay, so they clearly got rid of Candace Owens. Why? Well, the evidence would point to differing religious viewpoints. I mean, that's quite clearly what the evidence points to. One, you can see obviously the tweets here where Ben Shapiro and Candace are warring over New Testament Bible verses. Never a great thing, right? Ben Shapiro is Jewish. He's going to believe something different than Candace Owens, who is from the Christian tradition. And both those traditions go back thousands of years, and so they fight. And by the way, those fights can sometimes lead to crusades, wars. I mean, a lot of people have fought over religious differences. In fact, that's most wars throughout the time of human history, and might be wars going forward, right? So anyway, Candace saying, I won't tolerate Ben Shapiro reading himself into Scripture. Well, that's going to be the end point right there, right? There's no amount of money or contracts that are going to fix that. Ben Shapiro has been asked multiple times in multiple interviews about the Candace Owens firing. Ben Shapiro has been going on a lot of different big-time shows to talk about this, but also not talk about it. Here's what he said.
One of the consequences of this war has been a lot of very high passions on both sides, a lot of angry disagreements. You and your company have been at the center of a very high-profile one at the moment with Candace Owens, who's now left Daily Wire. Was she fired, or did she leave of her own volition?
I'm not going to speak to this topic, Piers.
At all?
At all.
You can't give me any insight into why she departed?
No hints, no nothing. I'm not going to speak to this.
Can I ask why?
I mean, you can ask.
No, I'm not. Can I ask why you don't want to say anything?
Again, you can ask.
I'm only curious because I know what a staunch defender of free speech you are, and it would surprise me if it had been someone's opinions that would make you want to part company with them, however contentious.
I mean, suffice it to say, the only thing I will say is what I've said all along with regard to Candace or with regard to any of our other hosts. I am not in hiring and firing position with the Daily Wire. I'm a co-founder of the Daily Wire. I'm a co-owner of the Daily Wire. I'm not actually in management. Jeremy Boring and Caleb Robinson are in management positions with regard to Candace or anyone else. And as far as the free speech situation, what I will say is that no company has the obligation to literally pay anyone. The Daily Wire is a publisher. It is not a platform. I've never called for Candace or anyone else for that matter to be banned from YouTube, to be banned from X, to be banned from any platform. That's a different story, obviously, when it comes to any publisher. Any publisher gets to make decisions about what it wishes to purvey and not.
I mean, I'm just not going to labour this, but one more point I would make is it's been reported extensively that the reason for her departure was because her comments had been perceived by people at the Daily Wire as anti-Semitic.
Again, I'm not going to comment on this, Piers.
So in these interviews, they're instructive because you learn a couple of things. You put the pieces together. I like it when mommy and daddy aren't fighting. I'm not here to try and stir drama or stir the pot. I know a lot of people involved here, but it's important to understand how and why this happened because there's major fallout. We're going to cover that in just a second. For the Daily Wire and for the conservative media ecosystem in total. This is why I'm really glad we're an independent show, quite frankly. I'm really glad we're an independent show. Let's just say, in times like these, I'm really glad. One, Ben Shapiro says Candace was saying things that were outside of what we agreed with at the Daily Wire. You can't say those things. And two, that was about the war in Israel or about the state of Israel, right? And so he specifically mentions Matt Walsh and his disagreement with Matt Walsh, but Matt Walsh's opinion is just really a centrist position on the state of Israel and nothing else. So I'm not sure if that's the best argument, right? The centrist position that Israel shouldn't get American taxpayer dollars and it should just be left alone as a nation, and all nations should just be left alone. That's kind of a centrist position here in America, libertarian conservative position. But nonetheless, it's become quite evident that the lines here where the breakdown was were along the lines of Israel and religion itself. Okay. Now this is leading to some commentators and some people that we really like. Andrew Schulz is one of my favorite comedians of all time. Love Andrew Schulz. He's got obviously a huge platform. Andrew Schulz is straight up came out guns a-blazing. And we investigated this. Andrew Schulz himself is Jewish. So sort of bake that into the cake here and recognize that this is the viewpoint of quite a few commentators from the outside looking in at all of this and saying, well, aren't you just making the argument for censorship at the Daily Wire? Here's what Andrew Schulz had to say.
Ben is criticized. I know he's very critical of media and media being biased. Yeah. But before you have a media platform, it's very easy to critique media. It's very easy to go, look at New York Times, look what you do, and look at Washington Post, look what you do, and you're censoring free speech, you're for censorship. In this conversation, he makes the argument for censorship. He calls it something else.
Yeah, I forget the term. I have it in my phone.
But I don't even think he's using the term right. But he's basically there's a window of ideas we accept.
Yes.
And we accept ideas between this, I guess this is, if I get window, you're looking like this. So we accept ideas between here and here. And anything outside of that window, well, you're fireable. That's censorship.
What?
But he's acting as if this is a justified reason for firing people when you built your identity and platform off of no censorship and freedom of speech and facts don't care about your feelings and all this.
It's also funny that window happens to end where his beliefs end.
Isn't
it interesting?
You would say that.
Not being pro-Israel, that's where the window ends. That's also your specific personal belief.
What?
So I just don't see.
So you can't have an opinion on your platform that is not pro a country that is not ours?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Crazy. I wish.
So is
I
the
wanna
Daily Wire an American media platform or is it an Israeli media platform? I'm just asking.
This guy's cooking.
I'm just asking. If the rule is, I'm just saying, if the rule is you cannot be critical, because he has no problem being very critical of America.
Yep.
He's critical of the left in America. Left is half the country. You have no problem eviscerating half of the country.
That's the current party in power.
But you can't criticize Israel as a country. That's just another country, unless you're saying, and you're clearly admitting, that the Daily Wire is an arm of the Israeli, I guess, media or propaganda machine. Is that? Oof. Are you manipulating the religious right in America? Are you manipulating the right-wing conservatives in America and selling them country western movies and putting on your little cowboy hat and fake moving to Nashville so that you could take all their money and then in the process restricting free speech, one of the core tenets of the American identity? Ben.
Oof. Benjamin.
What is happening? There's trouble in paradise. What shall we do?
Andrew Schulz saying, why not just be out with it? If you're going to, and this is Andrew Schulz's take, if you're going to be a website that is going to actively like fire people for their opinions on a foreign country, then you need to just say that and be open about that. Now that was echoed by Patrick Bet David, who also has a monster podcast and has 6-7 million YouTube subs on his show. Patrick Bet David, the PBD podcast, effectively saying like, you should change your name. If you're the Daily Wire, change your name to be more accurate. Here's PBD's take.
I'm going through certain things. I'm going to see what's going to happen as a leader. And at Valuetainment, we do have one very clear value that we don't compromise, and that's capitalism. Mm-hmm. There is no, it's very public. Guess what? I'm not compromising that. It's proven. You have communism, you have socialism, you have capitalism. We're not debating this, right? But there's a difference between an economical system with believing in enlighten, empower, entertain, debate, where it's one of our big discourse where we like to debate, and you can't debate faith, and you can't debate religion, and you can't debate that. That's the problem with when you take that position. What you do after that kind of a move, if I'm a Jew, okay, and I'm a devout at his level, and I want to go to a company that I will feel 100% safe, guess what's officially the #1 media company to go to if you're Jewish and you want to proudly sell all the values and principles that you believe in? Guess what's #1 worldwide? It's officially Daily Wire.
Yep.
If that's your value. And there's nothing wrong with CBN is what? What does CBN stand for?
Christian Broadcasting Network.
It's not, a RBN, Religious Broadcasting Network. It's what? Christian Broadcasting Network. Daily Wire can be Daily DJW, Daily Jewish Wire, or DIW, Daily Israel Wire. No problem.
Yep.
If that's your value, stick to that. If that's your #1, maybe conservative America, all the other stuff comes next. But positioning-wise, business-wise, if you got an Andrew Schulz, what religion is Andrew Schulz, by the way? Is he a Catholic, Rob? What is Andrew Schulz?
Fake Jewish.
No,
everyone thinks he's Jewish. He's not.
No, he was reading scripture the other day.
Irish Catholic, I think.
He was reading scripture the other day. He was reading scripture from the Bible the other day. Very weird that he was saying. I went to church, and when he was at church for first time, church on Sunday, and it was beautiful. It was crying 3 minutes. Is this it? Can you play this clip real quick? Yeah, this is him. Watch this.
Listen to what comedian Andrew Schulz had to say when he visited a church for the first time.
Went to church this Sunday, and it was beautiful. I'm crying within 3 minutes, bawling. I'm in this church, just listening to the music. I'm 3 minutes in, and I'm like, oh, there's a reason this took over the world. Christianity is incredible. You see so much selfishness, and for these people to sit in this room and then just give it up, it was beautiful.
You can pause it. So anyways, for him, he's a pretty reasonable guy and fair guy to say something like that. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what those guys do next.
So, this is leading, of course, to the questions. Is the Daily Wire the American media platform or an Israeli media platform? This is what PBD and this is what Andrew Schulz are saying. That's the commentary, ladies and gentlemen. again, it's kind of interesting if you're looking at the recent reporting on all of this. I'm going to break it down to why was Candace fired, right? I haven't really gotten a straight answer to that. Not a public one. I haven't really gotten a straight answer. According to the reporting on all of this, Candace was fired for, in part, saying Christ is king. 4 Daily Wire employees, all Christians, have approached this account, it's called Censored Men. Their identities remain anonymous and leaked information of an impromptu town hall that Jeremy Boring had on the day of Candace's firing, and in part explain that Candace was fired for repeated use of saying Christ is king. You'll see here, for instance, in Candace Owens's, pseudo fight with Ben Shapiro, or real fight with Ben Shapiro here, Candace Owens says Christ is king, right? This is back from November. This prompted Candace Owens to say, yeah, we're not supposed to talk about this. This is probably part of a NDA that was signed between all the parties. And Candace Owens gets, like, the way this normally works is Candace Owens gets a big like a payout to just go away, right? We don't want this relationship anymore. Here's your money. Go away. Don't talk about this ever again. And you sign the NDA, and then it's legally binding. That's how it normally works in these kind of situations. I don't know how it worked in this situation. I'm speculating. Candace Owens saying, Ben, we agreed not to talk about this, but you are very much going on a public tour right now talking about it. Would you like for me to do the same? In responding to the reporting that there was a Daily Wire town hall where Candace Owens was reportedly, allegedly slandered or smeared to the Daily Wire staff, according to this account, again, point you to where we're getting this information. Candace Owens says, I was not aware of this. Maybe me and Joe Rogan should sit down and pretend we're not talking about it while we're talking about it. Candace Owens this last Sunday saying Christ is king is trending worldwide. The media attempts to cross him again has failed. So what are you going to get, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, you know, Candace Owens has been repeatedly sort of promoting this idea that she was fired in part for her Christian faith and for her disagreement with the Daily Wire over the nation of Israel, over Israel policy, presumably with the war with Hamas, right? And there's been some pretty open public disagreements there. The best that we can point to, ladies and gentlemen, is Candace Owens with the one interview that she's done so far. She was in the Netherlands while this interview was going on. Candace Owens answering the question about being canceled and what that means for her. She says that it's all about winning the population. It's all about winning people over and getting the population on your side, and that she'll win in the end because people agree with what she's saying, and that censorship isn't going to win in the end. So read into that what you will. This is the commentary out there. It's getting spicy. It's getting heated. Here's what Candace has to say. There you go.
The unheard voices of many people, and like you in many ways, our network is getting cancelled too. You know, you're somewhat of an expert in dealing with getting cancelled. Any message to our viewers and our supporters?
Yeah, I think the best way to deal with it is fearlessly. If you fear that you're being canceled, don't worry about it, because I think, like I said, we're on the brink of a mass awakening, a global awakening. And so what you're seeing, the desperation of the attacks, I always smile and I always laugh, because that's how you know that we're inching ever closer. They are worried. They've lost control of the narrative, which is why they've become so extreme in their demands for censorship. The underground movement isn't so underground anymore. Where the underground movement has become quite mainstream, and it's great. The more they cancel people, they go from far right and they come inward and inward and inward, and suddenly they're canceling the moderates. Know that we're close. That's what I would say to people.
Right. So Ongehoord Nederland should just keep going.
Just keep going, like you don't even care. Don't even pay attention to the smears, the libels. They don't work. We're winning.
All right.